Hey, what's up, guys? Matthew Bellman, Ryan Kostrowski here. This is the DFS 5 pack. We told you yesterday as we started talking about it that we want to dive into talking a little bit more sports betting. Our resident degenerate right here, I know that's something that you're real big into. And while I don't do a lot of sports betting, I think you guys know I watch a little NBA. So when we get into these main sports like this, like I can't help anybody on golf or college basketball, but it doesn't mean I don't have opinions on how I think games are going to work out.
I definitely know my fair share of college basketball, no golf, but we're here to talk some NBA. One game I know that I like that you were talking about a little bit, placing or talking about that you like the odds on a money line wager. That's going to be the Golden State Warriors. So,
I was going to say, before we get into that, guys, just a quick shout out to overlaydfs.com. We are going to talk about it so much until that jackpot is won. I know one of our customers, Daniel, is saying like he just keeps flooding this $22 contest to the point that he can because he wants that jackpot so bad. And then in order to keep the money flooding in there, he just finds himself placing in the top 10%, every day, every other day in order to keep his bankroll rolling. That is a big jackpot, and that can be, I wouldn't call it life altering, but a $16,000 payday is going to definitely help some people out.
it's a nice payday, that's for damn sure.
All right, guys. So to get back into your point, though, we were talking about the Warriors taking on Toronto, and why don't you hit the public with your thoughts?
So, mainly, I love that we're talking about this spot because, you know, this is a spot that I go to and I'll go to time and time again. You don't see it like all that often. But whenever a team is an underdog at home after coming back off the road from winning their last game as a road underdog, I love backing them as a home dog here. So I might have said that confusing. Golden State just won on the road in Denver as a big underdog. Now they're back at home again as a big underdog. So Toronto is definitely the better team here. I'm not sure that Golden State wins this game, but I do think it's a very competitive game. Steph Curry back for Golden State. While I usually don't like that spot for teams when they get their best player back, this is a different situation altogether. He's the heart and soul of that team. They're already pathetic to begin with. So it can only help the Golden State team that Curry's back tonight. You're going to have the crowd live, as you talked about. You'll talk about in a little bit. I think Draymond Green plays. It's a get up spot for Golden State against the team that they lost to in the finals last year. I think they cover the number because I think it's a competitive game. Ultimately, Toronto needs this win, and I'm not going to be surprised if in the second half they kind of, exert their will. However, if we see Ibaka, Van Vliet, Gasol all out, I do give Golden State a reasonable chance to win this game, and I think this line goes down to like 7. What's your take?
Okay, so mostly we see this game eye to eye. What we expect out of it. Clearly, we're still waiting on the news for Draymond Green, Marc Gasol, Serge Ibaka, Fred VanVleet, and so on and so on. I think our strategy on this game, and again, you're the sports betting enthusiast, degenerate, whatever you want to call it, good or bad. You've done a lot more of this than I have, so I don't want to pretend like this is an area where I've tons of experience. However, I think you said that the payout's about 2.7 to 1. You said it was the money line, was it 270 or 280 or something?
270, correct?
Okay. I prefer, for me, if I were to place this bet, to bet on Golden State to win this game, as opposed to bet them to cover the 8. In my, 8.5, depending on where you're looking. My thought process on this one, and again, I don't have statistical evidence to back this up, but the NBA this day with the amount of three-pointer shot is crazy. If anybody watched the Bucks play the Pacers last night, I mean, talk about how all over the game that was. The Bucks opened up a 20-point lead, like basically like that. And then at one point, Indiana even got a small lead on them. It was only a couple of points before the Bucks came firing back and ultimately won that game by, I forget what the final score was, but I believe it was 20 points. And it was actually closer to 30 at some points. Just the swings in the NBA to me right now are crazy. So I don't have a lot of confidence in betting the 8 points. I could see Toronto winning by 10. I could see them winning by 5. But I do love the idea of getting almost 3 to 1 on my bet in order to bet Golden State to win this game. They have all the intangibles working in their favor. Curry's back. They say he's going to play about 25 minutes. If you can get it on here and then we find out Gasol and Ibaka and Van Vliet are out, I like their odds even more in this situation. Oracle is going to be rocking tonight, in my opinion. And I like the idea of Golden State pulling the upset.
So betting small money lines is okay. It's not a bad idea at all, but no sharp pro better is just betting like straight money lines because the reason there's money lines and the reason you get points. How I look at it, you think that they have a reasonable chance to win this game? Well, hell, give me 8 points. I mean, I get it that you get the bigger payout, but I'll take an 8-point lead before the game even starts. And kind of to the flip side of not the flip side, but another scenario which happens all the time. Last night in the New York Utah game, that game was a 20-point game through and through. Utah was winning that game, had that game won the entire time. Well, the Knicks cut it to 8. It was an 8.5-point spread with the last shot in the game, and that's where getting those points can really help you. Now that's a great example of a backdoor cover. It's not going to happen all the time, and I don't disagree with you. Placing a small wager for me on the Golden State money line seems like a good idea. For me though, it would be more like, if I were betting $10, I would put $8 on the spread, $2 on the money line, 7-3 maybe.
That makes sense. Again, you've done way more of this than I have. So for you, it's more about the odds and the trends of sports betting, having been doing it for the better portion of your adult life, correct?
Yeah, correct. It's a grind. Like, I get it. The appeal to Golden State is money line is there. But for me at this point, not that I don't bet teams because I watch this stuff every day, but a lot of what I do is bet numbers.
Got it. Totally understand. I like the idea of Golden State winning tonight. And perhaps if it was my money and I were, say, betting $10, I would bet $5 for Golden State to win and $5 for them to cover. And then guess what happens if they lose? I'm just, out the $10 I was going to bet anyways. Or if they lose by 20, which is always a possibility against a not very good team, I'm out all the same money I would have been. I don't know. It's a different way to vary it up. I default to you on a lot of this, but I just love Golden State to play well tonight.
So do I, but I get your point. Like, if you're going to go for it, you might as well go for it. Like, they could play really well and they could win the game, or they could play really well and Toronto could go on a run and win by 10 at the end of the game. I get your point wholeheartedly, and it is difficult in today's NBA because it's just the ranges in these games is crazy. Teams get up 20. You look at the Sacramento game the other night, they were up 27 at half, fell behind in the third quarter. You never used to see that.
No, the way the NBA has changed since when we were kids to right now, the points it's insane. When I was a kid, if a team had a 22-point lead in the third quarter, that was basically a lock to
Good night.
over. Now rewatch this and it's like, nah, I'm not counting that over until there's 4 minutes or less.
Yeah, exactly. It is crazy. It makes it on one hand more fun to watch. On the other hand, less fun to watch because all that really matters is the last part of the game. It makes betting a more difficult proposition because, like you just said, the spreads oftentimes seem like they don't matter.
Definitely. So I don't know. That's what we were thinking today. Did you have anything else as a little bit of as we kind of start this off, we can give a little bit more of what you're thinking. Was there anything else you liked tonight? I know you're a big proponent of when you find something you like, go after it aggressively, but don't force bets in on stuff you don't believe in. It sounded like from when we were discussing this earlier, there wasn't anything else you felt really good about today.
No, my gut likes the Clippers here, but that's just not my type of play. It seems like Joe Public, everyone likes the Clippers here. And while Joe Public is right a lot, I'm usually like to go against the grain, as you know. If this game were in LA, I'd like the Clippers more. I think you see both teams' best effort here. If anything, I kind of like the under in that game, to be quite honest.
Hard fought defense tonight. I can see that. I don't mind the under in that game at all because I expect, again, the Clippers defense, they're healthy now. One of the reasons you haven't seen the Clippers defense be as good as people have expected all season is they just haven't played together as a team very much. They're finally starting to get some of that chemistry worked out. When you got Beverly, Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, you can even throw Marcus Morris in there. He's a solid team defender. Like, this defense is going to be a tough nut to crack come playoff time.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right, guys, that's what we got for today. Appreciate you all watching. Thumbs up is always appreciated. Best of luck tonight.
Thanks, guys.